Let's take a look at what's going on with Dogecoin today, guys. All right, so we actually hit my 3 targets that I had been looking at in the last couple videos. I think we had hit the first target right away, and we were waiting to hit the second one and the third one, and we came down and hit those. I haven't actually been making videos, but it's all good. In the last couple videos, we've been talking about limit orders to those levels that I was just showing you right there. Dot 394 is the 23% level on the Fibonacci retracement chart. Something like that. And then we have the 38% and the 50%, which are 33.337 and dot 294 approximately. So like my last video, like I was saying, I was thinking that we might be getting a correction. And I mean, I've been talking about this for a while, actually. It wasn't just in my last video, but that was what I was talking about in my last video. I was actually watching it a while ago, but yeah, I've been talking about this correction for a while, ever since like we kind of did, let's see, what was it? It was like a flag pattern or something like that. We broke out like this, but we had trouble with it, and then we started coming back down, and then we kind of had trouble in this area. We kind of broke above this top here, but had trouble there and started coming down. So it was just I don't know, in my opinion, there was like a sign that it was just having trouble. And then I was also watching this line right here where we had support. We broke that going to the downside. That was like another kind of clue that it was kind of gonna head down, or that was another kind of thing that kind of backed up the correction theory. And so when we have like a big huge run on stocks or crypto, whatever you want to look at on tradingview.com, then we could get the Fibonacci retracement tool. And that's what I mean. Actually, a lot of these tools are the same on a lot of the programs, or a lot of the websites, but we get the Fibonacci retracement tool. I'm using tradingview.com. Get the Fibonacci retracement tool, we drag from the bottom of the run to the top of the run, and that gives us these levels to watch. And that's where I dollar cost average. I'm trying to dollar cost average back in at these levels. This first one was kind of low, and then the second one was a little higher because that was a 38% level, and then the third one was kind of medium. So I had a feeling that we were going to go lower, so I waited and put more into these ones. But right now, so yeah, we came down, hit those levels. Fibonacci retracement chart gave us the 23%, the 38%, the 50%, 61, so on, 78, I think. And we watch these levels as it goes down. So once we start thinking it's going to the downside, right here was our clue that it was going to the downside. We can sell it, and then we can start either buying back in to them, or yeah, I mean, that's what I kind of use it for. I mean, or we could kind of use it to see if it goes down, then maybe have spots to even just buy back in, even if you don't sell it. It's kind of a way to help you buy the dips, I guess. But there's also another cool thing that I'm about to mention, and I've talked about this. I talked about this in last video, which I thought it'd be cool if we did, and we're kind of doing it right now. Which is bouncing in between the Fibonacci retracement levels. Okay, so we came down. Like I said, we filled. Oh no, we didn't hit the third one, did we? Oh no, there's 4 of them that I'm looking at. No, never mind. I'm sorry. The fourth one, I just put this line up here because I put these lines here because I just wanted to see the levels, but I don't have limit orders on these ones. Sorry, I got confused for a second. What I was going to say is we came down, we filled those limit orders, but now we could be bouncing between them. So, okay, so we came down, filled all 3 of those limit orders. We bought, let me delete this one. This one's kind of bugging me. We bought at those 3 levels. Let me show you. Okay, so we bought at this level, I bought at this level, and bought at this level. Right now, we got a bounce right around this area. I mean, it went down lower, but we bounced, came higher than this area where I bought it at right here. Now if I would have timed it correctly, like really been looking at the chart, then or really, and I'm thinking about putting. I was thinking about doing this before I started recording this video. Is maybe I should start putting aside money, like have like my regular trades, but also have trades that are purely based on Fibonacci retracement level. So like once I get a buy right here, then I'll have a sell limit order right there, just so I could time it perfectly, because from there's a lot better than from here to like here. You know what I mean? You kind of miss out on a little bit if you're not like watching it all the time. And if you have a sell, the only problem I have with sell limit orders is if it starts going higher, then you kind of miss out on it. So I don't know. The other thing that I was watching though is this trend. So like we came down, filled all the limit orders, right? And then we started bouncing to the upside right up here. Then we got support. We got a little bit of support right here, support right here, support right here, giving us this trend line right here. And then we hit that Fibonacci retracement level. Boom. Went a little bit above it. Had trouble and broke back below it. And I've talked about this all the time on my channel about these Fibonacci retracement levels. If we break below it, then I'm going to be looking at the next one going to the downside. And so that's what I'm doing right now. I actually sold a little bit right here. And then now I'm going to buy, so what I picked up right here, over here, I let it come up here, sold it around here. And now I'm going to put a limit order again over here. This is over here. I know people hate that, but okay. Right here, my limit order is going to be at .294, and I sold it somewhere around, let's see, .324 approximately. And from where we are right now to where the next limit order is about 9%. That's just what I'm doing. I don't know, you know what I mean? That's just what I'm thinking. Okay, so we had this trend line going to the upside, right? And then we broke it going to the downside. So now what we could do is actually since we broke this one, we can delete that. Now we are kind of assuming we're going to the downside anyways, or we can kind of look for a trend. We have resistance right here. We have resistance. There's like two candles. Resistance. All these candles are basically giving us this trend line right here. If we break this trend line going to the upside, then I'll be less confident on this limit order that I placed right here at .294. So actually, that's where my limit order is at .294. So let's see if it could come down and do that, since we broke this trend line going to the downside right there. That's just what I'm thinking. I was kind of gonna do half of it, but I'm kind of thinking I think that's my next target is .294. We came down and hit the first three. We came down and hit them once. I think we'll do it again. Let's see. The other thing we could probably look at is we have resistance right here. Resistance. Let's look at something like that. Let's go to like the 4 hour, like the daily though. And it looks like, okay, so that's another thing we could talk about. 1 second. Let's go to the 4 hour. I know I have all these lines. Let's go ahead and delete this one because we broke that one. We just haven't talked about it. Hold on 1 second. All right, so let's go ahead and delete this one as well. We'll delete this one. And actually I was actually kind of looking at a kind of channel pattern, something like this or something. I don't know. Let's just delete all this stuff. But what I was going to show you is the Fibonacci not the Fibonacci retracement, the nine moving average. Delete this. Okay, let's go to the daily. And right now we are clearly below the 9 moving average. Okay, so I like watching the 9 moving average because when we're above it, then we're bouncing on it, giving us support, pushing us to the upside. When we're below it, when we break below it, then it's pushing us to the downside. We come into contact with it, get resistance, pushes us down. And right now we're pushing down. So like back here, I was talking about that. That was another signal that I was looking at, is we broke that daily 9 moving average. We've been having trouble with it all in these candles here, which are each candle is a day basically. So all these days in this area, we were having trouble with it. We finally broke this 23% level, and then that's when we really uh, broke to the downside, because we were getting support on this, on the bottom right here at this 23% level too for a while. And I was like, oh, are we gonna like actually just bounce to the upside? Finally broke to the downside, finally filled my limit orders and hit my targets that I've been looking at for a while now. So yeah, once we broke that, but look at, it's kind of interesting though, don't you think? The 23% level, you have that level right there. We were kind of getting support on it. Boom, 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 boom. That's what, like, and I was telling you guys, limit order, limit order. On the last video, I was talking about how, let's go to like the 4 hour, like the hourly time frame. I was talking about how if you can play off this. Which one was it doing? Oh, this one was probably the best one. I think that was like 14%, or 14% was like right here. But we had this 23% level that we were looking at. Filled that limit order right there. Came up. I got like a nice little trade right there. Then we came down, but we were bouncing on it. Like we've been bouncing on that level right there. So you could kind of trade on that. And I kind of talked about that on the past videos as well. So go ahead and go check those out. But that's what I'm looking at right now. I think we're still, I mean, since we broke this one, since we came up, got resistance at this Fibonacci retracement level, I think this gave us trouble, pushing us to the downside. But let's go back to that daily 9 moving average. That's what I want to continue to talk about. I want to see us, before we can start getting bullish again, is we need to break above the 9 moving average as well. So right here, we broke below it, having trouble, boom, 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 boom. Having trouble, resistance pushing us to the downside. What I want to see the 9 moving average do is come down and get closer to the price. Then we can kind of go maybe sideways and hit the price going sideways and then kind of break out. Once we do break this 9 moving average, then I can see us getting a nice big pop. But we have broken below it. It is giving us trouble right now. Until we break the 9 moving average, I think it's going to continue to give us trouble. And I think once we do break above it, or kind of, because what I'm kind of hoping it does is something like this, where we're kind of going sideways, and then we kind of do something like that. Once we break above it though, then we can start getting a lot more bullish. That'll be a bullish signal. Like I was talking about how we like break the trends going to the downside being a bearish signal where we kind of want to sell, or potentially it could, that's what you kind of maybe want to try to sell. But I don't know how much you guys trade or buy and hold, but I hold, but I also trade a little bit. So, but I like playing around with some of these signals. So yeah, about my limit orders, I'm trying to accumulate right now. That's kind of the name of the game right now. I was kind of hesitant to even take this trade, but we'll see what happens. Like I was talking about, or I've been talking about forever, is these Fibonacci retracement levels are cool, because a lot of the times they do, you'll get them filled and then they'll start bouncing in between each other. You know what I mean? Something like that. So just, that's what I don't know. Take a look at it on your own chart, tradingview.com. It's free. Get an account. But we had a trend line right here. We broke that one going to the downside. Whoops, sorry. Broke that one going to the downside. Now I think we also broke the Fibonacci retracement level, that 38% level sitting at .338. Now this is kind of like resistance. I think the next spot of support is going to be that same Fibonacci retracement level, the 50%. This wasn't perfect. It was like .294, but because it went a little lower, I mean, you could also probably argue that since we're heading down, you could also look at like the previous bottom. But I'm gonna play off the Fibonacci retracement level. We almost got close to this other one too at .249, which I did not have a limit order at, but we almost came down and touched that. We almost came down and touched that one as well. But yeah, filled my limit orders. Now let's see how far we can kind of. And when I talked about like bouncing in between them, it's not like perfect. Sometimes it's not like perfectly like this. A lot of the times it is something like kind of overshooting it a little bit. So like kind of doing something like this, or like, you know what I mean? Where it'll go halfway. sometimes that'll kind of like mess you up a little bit, where you're like, oh, okay, it broke through it going to the downside, but it only went halfway, and then it, or it almost touches your limit order and it doesn't quite touch your limit order. So sometimes I like to be a little conservative and like make it a little bit higher as far as limit order buys. But yeah, that's what I'm kind of looking at. 294 is what I'm looking at personally. Let me know what you guys are thinking, though, and yeah, let me know what you guys are thinking. If you guys like this video, hit that thumbs up, and if you want to watch the last video, check it out right here, where I talk about a lot of this stuff. I kind of called a lot of these targets, but and then I had to make a video in a while, but check it out right here. And then if you're new to trading, check out this playlist right here. I'll help you get you started. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one.